My name is John and welcome back. This is the Echo eForce DPB 5800T. This is Echo's first battery-powered backpack blower. I'm just going to give you a very quick review of the blower, and then I'm going to cover all the details, everything you want to know about the blower before you buy it, and then I'm going to take you out to the field and show you what this blower can do in real-world situations. So if you find a benefit from this video, please consider subscribing, and thanks for watching. Before I get started with the video, I just want to tell you up front, Echo is coming out with two new battery-powered backpack blowers. They're coming out with the 5900 X series, which is an identical blower to this, but it has the maxed out technology that's going to give you more consistent power through the battery life. They're also coming out with the 7700. That's going to be a true commercial battery-powered blower. It puts out 850 CFM and 220 mile-an-hour airspeed and 36 newtons of blowing force. And it's also going to be a weather-resistant blower. They're going to have different battery configurations for the 5900 and the 7700 compared to what comes with the 5800. So just let you know that in advance. So if you're in the market for a battery-powered backpack blower for the commercial setting, definitely look out for that 7700. I've owned the 5800 now for 4 months, and I've used it consistently for 4 months, all through summer and now in the fall. And this is a really great battery blower, very easy to operate. But if you're coming from a commercial backpack blower such as the 770, you're going to be disappointed in the performance. It's nowhere near as good as the 770. But if you're comparing the blower to a mid-range backpack blower like the 580T, this has way more power than the 580T and anything else below the 580T, whether it's a gas hand blower, electric hand blower. This 5800 blows those things away. This has plenty of power, really do anything you want to do right around the home. But when you start to get into commercial work, blowing big piles of leaves, that's where you're going to really see the shortcomings of the 5800. But as a homeowner, just coming outside, taking care of your leaves in the fall, this thing's great. It's going to be so much easier to operate than a gas power unit. You're never going to have to take this thing in for repairs. You don't have to worry about it clogging up in the wintertime with the ethanol and all that stuff. You just pick it up and use it. So what's great about this blower, really, in the grand scheme of things, I'm over 40. And when you get over 40, you know what I mean. Everything's much more difficult. You get way more beat up just operating the equipment. So for me, this is super easy to use. Drop the batteries in, pull the trigger, and it's running. And this has no learning curve, so if you want to give it a helper, you don't have to worry about them mixing the wrong fuel in here or anything along those lines. Just hand the blower to them and a couple of batteries, and off you go. Really a great piece of equipment. But there is one downside, and that's all battery blowers have the same exact problem. Doesn't matter how much money you're going to spend on the blower, they have the same problem, and that's runtime. So this blower with one 5 amp hour battery gives you 10 minutes of runtime on turbo. And that doesn't seem like a lot, but you get a lot done in 10 minutes in the grand scheme of things. But that being said, compared to gas powered, you can run for 35 minutes, and you never in my life did I have a care in the world worry about runtime, because you just put gas in it, you don't worry about it. So the way it sits right now, two 5 amp hour batteries, you get 20 minutes on turbo, maybe 35 minutes on non-turbo wide open, and anything in between if you're going to use half throttle, non-turbo, but you get the idea. I really like this 5800. I always wish it has more power. Anybody that has bought a backpack blower has wished they had more power, but what's great about it is you go out there, put the batteries in, and you just use it. Like I said, no learning curve, super easy to operate, just pull the trigger and you're working. So now I'm going to cover all the details of the blower, anything you may want to know about before you buy it. The performance numbers for the 5800 are 195 miles an hour airspeed, 795 CFM, and 25 newtons. But that's on the turbo button. They don't give you any numbers for the non-turbo full throttle, but they do give you a newton number of 17. The 5800 comes in two packages, a standalone backpack blower with no batteries for $349, or two 5 amp hour batteries and a dual port charger for $699. The 5800 features this really nice roll cage along with a great composite body, making this a very lightweight blower. Features really nice high quality backpack straps. These are very comfortable, nice padding on it. Has a back pad as well. These straps are very similar to what's on your 770 or your 9010. They are a lighter duty strap, but they are very nice. The backpack straps also feature a sternum strap. When you load this thing up with batteries, that's a lot of weight. And with the sternum strap, it will keep the blower tight to your body so it won't be tipping back on you. Make it a little more comfortable to wear. The 5800 features the posi lock, This is a great feature, keeps the blower tube from separating. You never have to worry about driving down the road, looking back and seeing your blower tube blowing down the highway. Not gonna happen with the Posi Lock. Really great feature on all Echo blowers. The throttle control on the 5800 is very similar to what's on any T-model backpack blower, except for it has some additional features for the batteries. First off, battery indicator 1 through 4. This corresponds to the complete package of batteries you have in the slots. So if you have 2 that are completely full and 1 that's empty, it will give you that total amount, showing you less battery life because 1 is empty, even though you have 2 full ones. Right now, I have 2 batteries in the slots, and the bottom row shows you the batteries that are in use. So I have 2 batteries back here, but it's only showing 1 light because 1 of the batteries is not clipped in. So now it's showing 2 lights because I have 2 batteries clipped in now. The throttle handle on the 5800, just like what's on any T-model Echo backpack blower. So if you pick this up, it will feel just the same. The only difference is it has a turbo button and the battery indicator. The way you operate the throttle on the 5800, you have the trigger. Super easy to use. You have the cruise control lever. You don't have to pull the trigger to use the cruise control lever. Set it anywhere you want. And then you have the turbo button. What's great about this is, compared to the hand blower, you don't have to hold it down to use it the whole time. It locks in place. So you just pull the trigger or set the cruise control lever and press the button and it locks in place. And when you bring the throttle back to neutral or bring back the cruise control lever, it goes back to standard full throttle. The throttle response on the 5800 is almost instant when the lights are on, but there is about a 1-second delay if the lights are off. So you first buy this, put this on your back, pull the trigger, you're like, oh no, there's a huge delay. But it's only when the lights are off because the blower is actually off at that point. Once it's on, it's instant throttle. So right now, 1-second delay since the lights are off. Since the lights are on now, it'll be instant throttle. The 5800 has 3 battery slots, and you can run the batteries in any configuration you want. You can run it as a single battery, multiple batteries, doesn't matter. It's up to you. Whatever your performance needs are, that's the batteries you want to run. One thing I'm mentioning about the batteries in the 5800 is it's designed to run on these 5 amp hours. You can stick a 2 in here, but the problem with that is if you run a single 2.5 amp hour battery, it kills about half the performance of the backpack blower compared to running the 5. What I'm going to show you right now is just the noise difference and performance level with the 2.5 compared to the 5. Let me quickly show you this. This is a full 2.5. This is non-turbo. This is a full 5 non-turbo. It's double the power. If you're gonna be running a single 2.5, it's gonna be the situation when you're out of batteries and this is all you have left. Because normally running this, just a huge waste of your time. Always run it with a 5 in here, or a 5 and a 2, or 2 5s and up. Just never a single 2, unless it's a last-ditch effort to get your work done. One of the great things about the backpack blower that I really like is the blower section is actually within the backpack. It's not out here on the blower tube. Having it out here on the tube, I know they have joints with hinges and makes it a little easier to use. If you're coming from a gas backpack blower, this feels like your normal backpack blower. You don't have to get used to something else. There's a couple of downsides to the 5800. First off, this is not the X series, so it doesn't have the max out technology. With the max out technology, it has full power until the battery cuts out. With this, you have full power, then it slowly tapers off till the battery runs out. The final downside to the 5800 is it's not weather rated. Other brands on the market have their battery backpack blowers that are weather rated. They can either be rained on, take splashes, but with the eForce, it's not weather rated. So for me, this will never be running on the trimmer rack. It will never be in the bed of my truck, because if it can't take a splash, it really can't be rained on. So all my eForce models, including my trimmer, never run on the trailer. They're always in the cab of my truck. For me, that's a small price to pay for keeping the equipment safe. But for the future, I would love to have all the equipment weather rated so you can just be out there using like a regular piece of commercial equipment. Now I'm going to take you out and show you what this blower can do in real world situations. how this is going to work, I'm going to start out small, just light material, light leaves, and then I'm going to progressively get into areas where this blower is going to start to have some trouble, so you can really see the capabilities of this backpack blower. So if you find any benefit from this video, please consider subscribing, and thanks for watching. These are big, bulky magnolia leaves. They're not lightweight and fluffy. They're hard to move no matter what. This is a pretty good pile of leaves. I blew this pile here with the Echo 8010. It's summertime, so these leaves have been laying somewhere for a while now. This is all full of sticks and debris, not just freshly fallen leaves. Let's see how well the 5800 does. I have two fully charged batteries. I'm gonna be running this strictly on the turbo button. just to see how well it does, because this pile is full of debris.